Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachardane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. So we are reading Adi-lila chapter 5, just beginning a new chapter today, entitled The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. So text 1. Vande Nantadbhutaishvaryam Shri Nityanandam Ishvaram Yasyechaya Tadsvarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate.
Let me offer my obeisance to Lord Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity.
Nice. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeshat shloke kahila Krishna Chaitanya Mahima Pancha shloke kahi Nityananda Tatvasima.
I have 6 verses. 5 verses.
Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tanhara Dvitiya Deha Shri Balaram. Kritika?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna, the Absolute Personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Shri Balaram. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Swamsa, and forms that have limited potencies, the living entities, are called Vibhinamsa.
So Balaram is in the Swamsa category, that has all the potencies of Krishna. And so, yeah, before getting into Lord Nityananda, first Krishnadas Kaviraj is going to explain Lord Balaram, because basically Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. So first, because many people don't know about Lord Nityananda, but they know about Balaram. So first Krishnadas Kaviraj is going to start by explaining the known, right? And making sure everyone's clear on that. Text 5. Eka iswarupa donhe binna bhatrakaya Adyakaya Vyuha Krishna Lilaya Sahaya. Arjuna, do you know where we are? You just jumped in, right?
Yes, just 1 second.
It's 5-5.
Yes. Oh, Lord. Okay. 5-5. Okay. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Balaram is a Swamsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balaram is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms, and he is the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say that the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is the color. All the potencies are the same. Text 6. Se Krishna Navadvipe Shri Chaitanya Chandra Se Balarama Sange Shri Nityananda. Nikesh.
That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvipa as Lord Chaitanya and Balarama appeared with him as Lord Nityananda.
Jai. Okay. Text 7. Sankarshana Karana Toya Shayi Garbhodashayi Chapayogdashayi Sheshaschyasyam Shakalasanitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu. Are they ready?
May Sri Nityananda Rama be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshana, Sesha, Naga, and Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean and the ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of plenary portions. Sri Swarupa Damodar Goswami has recorded this verse in his diary to offer his respectful obeisance to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. This verse also appears as the first 14 verses of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. Oh, okay.
That's cool. This verse is right out of Swarup Damodar's diary. Okay, text 8. Shri Balaram Gosai Mula Sankarshana Pancharupa Dhari Karena Krishnera Sevana.
Balarama is the original Sankar. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna.
All right, yeah, so Balaram's the first expansion of Krishna, and then Balaram expands himself further to serve Krishna in different ways. Apane Karena Krishna Lila Sahaya Dristi Lila Karya Kare Dhari Chari Kaya.
He himself helps with the and he does the work of creation in 4 other.
Right, so Balaram is considered to be a Lila avatar, which means that he's like Krishna, he's like the supreme enjoyer. He only plays and takes part in Krishna's personal pastimes in Vrindavan, Dwarka, like that, in different areas of Goloka. Wherever Krishna is, Balaram is around to help him. And so when it comes to work, then for the work of creation and maintenance and destruction, then Balaram expands into different forms, different Vishnu forms, different expansions to delegate the work to. But Balaram himself doesn't do work unless he wants to. Srishyadika Seva Tanra Agyara Palana Shesharupe Kare Krishnara Vivida Sevana. Right?
He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. According to expert opinion, Balram, as the chief of the original quadruple forms, is also the original Sankarshan. Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna, expand himself in 5 forms: Mahasankarshan, second Karna Dakshayi, third Garbhodakshayi, fourth Shirodakshayi, and fifth Shesha. These 5 plenary portions are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. In these 5 forms, Lord Balram assists Lord Krishna in his activities. The first 4 of these forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations, whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Shesha is called Ananta or unlimited because he assists the personality of Godhead in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. Sri Balram is the servitor Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the same servitor Godhead, Balram, performs the same service to the Lord Gauranga by constant association.
Yeah, so Prabhupada says, and it'll be coming up here, but Prabhupada says that Balaram is the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. Means he's the same as Krishna, but his mood is that he's a servant of Krishna.
Service.
Yeah, service mood. He has all the powers, all the potencies of God. He's non-different from Krishna, just the color is different, the bodily structure is different. but his mood is also different, that Krishna is the Lord and he's the servant, and he exists to assist Krishna in his different pastimes in different ways. And yeah, so he expands himself to expand his capacity for service to the Lord. Text 11. Sarvarupe asvadaye Krishna sevananda sevalarama gora sange nityananda. Arjuna?
In all the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. The same Balaram is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Lord Gaurasundar.
Saptama shlokera artha kari chari shloke yata nityananda tattva jane sarvaloke. Kritika.
I have explained the seventh verse in 4 subsequent verses. By these verses, all the world can know the truth about Lord Nityananda.
Okay, text 13. Maya titevya pivaikuntha loke purnaishvarye shri chaturvyuhamadye rupam yasyodbhati sankarsanakyam tam shri nityanandaramam prapadye. Nikesh?
Surrendered unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, who is known as Sankarsana, in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. This is a verse from Sri Swarupa Damodara Goswami's diary. It appears as the 8th of the first 14 verses of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita.
Seems like Swarup Damodar was also a great scholar and poet, Sanskrit scholar, because this verse is very beautiful, right? Prakritira para paravyomana me dhama Krishna vigrahaya chevi bhyutari gunavan. Beyond the material nature lies the realm known as Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Like Lord Krishna himself, it possesses all transcendental attributes, such as the 6 opulences. Purport. According to Sankhya philosophy, the material cosmos is composed of 24 elements. The 5 gross material elements, the 3 subtle material elements, the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, the 5 active senses, the 5 objects of sense pleasure, and the Maha Tattva, the total material energy. Empiric philosophers, unable to go beyond these elements, speculate that anything beyond them must be avyakta, or inexplicable. But the world beyond the 24 elements is not inexplicable, for it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as the eternal Sanatana nature. Beyond the manifested and unmanifested existence of material nature, vyakta vyakta, is the Sanatana nature, which is called the Paravyoma, or the spiritual sky. Since that nature is spiritual in quality, there are no qualitative differences there. Everything there is spiritual, everything is good, and everything possesses the spiritual form of Sri Krishna himself. That spiritual sky is the manifested internal potency of Sri Krishna. It is distinct from the material sky manifested by his external potency. The all-pervading Brahman, composed of the impersonal glowing rays of Sri Krishna, exists in the spiritual world with the Vaikuntha planets. We can get some idea of that spiritual sky by a comparison to the material sky, for the rays of the sun in the material sky can be compared to the Brahmajyoti, the glowing rays of the personality of Godhead. In the Brahmajyoti there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets, which are spiritual and therefore self-luminous, with a glow many times greater than that of the sun. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, his innumerable plenary portions, and the portions of his plenary portions dominate each Vaikuntha planet. And the highest region of the spiritual sky is the planet called Krishna Loka, which has 3 divisions, namely Dwarka, Mathura, and Goloka, or Gokul. To a gross materialist, this kingdom of God, Vaikuntha, is certainly a mystery. But to an ignorant man, everything is a mystery, for want of sufficient knowledge. The kingdom of God is not a myth. Even the material planets which float over our heads in the millions and billions are still a mystery to the ignorant. Material scientists are now attempting to penetrate this mystery, and a day may come when the people of this earth will be able to travel in outer space and see the variegatedness of these millions of planets with their own eyes. In every planet, there is as much material variegatedness as we find in our own planet. This planet Earth is but an insignificant spot in the cosmic structure, yet foolish men, puffed up by a false sense of scientific advancement, have concentrated their energy in the pursuit of so-called economic development on this planet, not knowing of the variegated economic facilities available on other planets. According to modern astronomy, the gravity of the moon is different from that of the Earth. Therefore, one who goes to the moon will be able to pick up large weights and jump vast distances. In the Ramayana, Hanuman is described as being able to lift huge weights as heavy as hills and jump over the ocean. Modern astronomy has confirmed that this is indeed possible. The disease of the modern civilized man is his disbelief in everything in the revealed scriptures. Faithless non-believers cannot make progress in spiritual realization, for they cannot understand the spiritual potency. The small fruit of a banyan contains hundreds of seeds, and in each seed is the potency to produce another banyan tree with the potency to produce millions more such fruits. This law of nature is visible before us, although how it works is beyond our understanding. This is but an insignificant example of the potency of Godhead. There are many similar phenomena that no scientist can explain. Everything, in fact, is inconceivable, for the truth is revealed only to the proper persons. Although there are varieties of personalities from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, all of whom are living beings, their development of knowledge is different. Therefore, we have to gather knowledge from the right source. Indeed, in reality, we can get knowledge only from the Vedic sources. The four Vedas, with their supplementary Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, and their corollaries, which are known as Smritis, are all authorized sources of knowledge. If we are at all to gather knowledge, we must gather it from these sources without hesitation. Revealed knowledge may, in the beginning, be unbelievable because of our paradoxical desire to verify everything with our tiny brains. But the speculative means of attaining knowledge is always imperfect. The perfect knowledge propounded in the revealed scriptures is confirmed by the great acharyas, who have left ample commentaries upon them. None of these acharyas has disbelieved in the Shastras. One who disbelieves in the Shastras is an atheist, and we should not consult an atheist, however great he may be. A staunch believer in the Shastras, with all their diversities, is the right person from whom to gather real knowledge. Such knowledge may seem inconceivable in the beginning, but when put forward by the proper authority, its meaning is revealed, and then one no longer has any doubts about it. So Prabhupada's saying how, some of these things that we hear about the spiritual world, and Krishna's Kaviraj is going to go on explaining about the spiritual world, may seem very unbelievable or far-fetched or just, contradictory to what material science has claims to know about the nature of the universe and things. And Prabhupada is saying that the only real knowledge about these things is from the Vedas, because Vedas come from God and God knows, right? Everybody else is just speculating and hypothesizing and guessing and trying to verify with insufficient, actual knowledge with scientific instruments that can't really measure the things that they're trying to measure, and imperfect senses and tendency to cheat and tendency to make mistakes. So if we want real perfect knowledge of things that are beyond our direct perception, then we have to consult the authoritative Shastras and have faith. Okay, so let's go on text 15. Sarvaga Ananta Vibhu Vaikuntadi Dhamma Krishna Krishna Avatarera Tahani Vishrama.
In the highest region of the
Wait,
spiritual
the
sky.
previous.
Oh, okay. Okay. That Vaikuntha region is all pervading, infinite, and supreme. It is the residence of Lord Krishna and his incarnations.
Okay, so we're talking about the spiritual world beyond this material cosmic manifestation. That's the Vaikuntha region, where all the incarnations reside permanently. Tahara Uppari Bhage Krishna Loka Kyati Dwaraka Mathura Gokula Trividatve Stiti.
highest region of that spiritual sky is the spiritual planet called Krishna Loka. It has three divisions: Dwarka, Mathura, and Goloka. Gokula.
Gokula. So now we're getting some information about the geography, a little spiritual geography class. So yeah, beyond the coverings of the material universe. So the material universe is Earth, and then above the Earth is the Bhuvar Loka. Well, this Earth is like a whole mandala, the Bhumandala. And then there's Bhuvar Mandala, and then there's Swarga, all the heavenly planets, the moon, the Venus, Mars, are all places where the demigods live. And then above that, there's the higher planets, Tapaloka and Janaloka and Maharloka and Brahmaloka. And
You have
then,
the chart, right?
yeah, the chart's in there.
Right?
And then after that, there's all the layers, right? So there's, first of all, there's a layer of earth, which is miles and miles thick. And then there's a layer of water, which is 10 times the thickness of that. And then a layer of earth, water, air, then fire, then ether, then mind, then intelligence, then false ego. All the 8 material elements are all like layered around the universe, totally closing it off. And then beyond that, there's a river that's called the Vaitarani River that separates the material and spiritual worlds. And then if you cross over that Vaitarani River, then you get to the spiritual sky. You get to a spiritual sky, which is like flooded with light, flooded with the Brahmajyoti light, which is the effulgence of Krishna. And then in that spiritual sky, there's all countless unlimited numbers of planets, the Vaikuntha planets that are like floating there, like planets in the spiritual sky. And then there's millions and millions, and they're all presided over by one incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And then you go to the highest, and then you get to the topmost part of the spiritual sky. And then there's one special planet that's shaped like a lotus flower with petals. And that is the planet Krishna Loka. He's saying here the highest region of that spiritual sky is a spiritual planet called Krishna Loka. And it's divided into Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul, the 3 different places where Krishna has his pastimes. Yeah. So let's hear about it. Sarvopari Shri Gokula Vrajaloka Dhamma Shri Goloka Sweta Dvipa Vrindavana Nama. Huh? 17.
Yeah, Gokula, the highest of all, is also called Vraja, Goloka, Shvetodvipa, and Vrindavan.
Yeah, so different names here for Vrindavan. Usually we say Vrindavan or Goloka Vrindavan, but it's also called Gokul, Raj, and sometimes Sweta Dvip. Sarvaga Ananta Vibhu Krishna Tanu Sama Uparyadho Vyapi Yache Nahika Niyama.
Like the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokula is all-pervading, infinite, and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami, the great authority and philosopher in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has discussed the abode of Krishna in his Krishna Sandarbha. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord refers to my abode. Srila Jiva Goswami, examining the nature of Krishna's abode, refers to the Skanda Puran, which states, Yayatha bhuvi vartate puryo bhagavata priyayaha tas tatha santi vaikunte tattala lilartham ajita. The abodes of Godhead in the material world, such as Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul, are specimens representing the abodes of Godhead in the kingdom of Godhead. Vaikuntha Dham. The unlimited spiritual atmosphere of that Vaikuntha Dham is far above and beyond the material cosmos. This is confirmed in Swambhuva Tantra in a discussion between Lord Shiva and Parvati regarding the effect of chanting the mantra of 14 syllables. There it is stated, while chanting the mantra, one should always remember the spiritual world, which is very extensive and full of desire trees that can yield anything one desires. Below that, Vaikuntha region is the potential material energy, which causes the material manifestation. The places of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, such as Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan, eternally and independently exist in Krishna Loka. They are the actual abodes of Lord Krishna, and there is no doubt that they are situated above the material cosmic manifestation. The abode known as Vrindavan or Gokul is also known as Goloka. The Brahma Samhita states the Gokul, the highest region of the kingdom of God, resembles a lotus flower with thousands of petals. The outer portion of that lotus-like planet is a square place known as Sweta In the inner portion of Gokula, there is an elaborate arrangement of Sri Krishna's residence with his eternal associates such as Nanda and Yashoda. That transcendental abode exists by the energy of Sri Baldev, who is the original whole of Shesha or Ananta. The Tantras also confirm this description by stating that the abode of Sri Anantadev, a plenary portion of Baldev, is called the kingdom of Godhead. Vrindavan Dham is the innermost abode within the quadrangular realm of Shweta which lies outside of the boundary of Gokul Vrindavan. According to Jiva Goswami, Vaikuntha is also called Brahmaloka. The Narada Pancharatra in the inner statement concerning the mystery of Vijaya describes the predominator of the gopis, Govinda, the principal deity of Gokula, always enjoys himself in a place called Golok in the topmost part of the spiritual sky. From the authoritative evidence cited by Jiva Goswami, we may conclude that Krishna Loka is the supreme planet in the spiritual sky, which is far beyond the material cosmos. For the enjoyment of transcendental variety, the pastimes of Krishna there have three divisions, and these pastimes are performed in three abodes: Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. When Krishna descends to this universe, he enjoys the pastimes in places of the same name. These places on earth are not different from those original abodes, for they are
Facsimiles.
facsimiles of those original holy places in the transcendental world. They are so good as Sri Krishna himself and are equally worshipable. Lord Chaitanya declared that Lord Krishna, who presents himself as the son of the king of Braj, is worshipable, and that Vrindavan Dham is equally worshipable.
Yeah, so these dhams that we have on this planet Earth, when Krishna appears here, they're non-different from the original spiritual dhams in the spiritual world. Facsimility means they're like replicas, they're the same thing. And the what Prabhupada is giving us a little sneak preview of is the fact that this whole spiritual world is just a partial manifestation of the energy of Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram, just by a tiny little fragment of his potency, he manifests the spiritual world, the material, and like everything. Everything is expanding from Lord Balaram. See, it says the transcendental abode exists by the energy of Sri Baladev, who is the original whole of Shesha or Ananta. Yeah. The Tantras also confirm this description by saying the abode of Sri Anantadev, a plenary portion, is called the kingdom. Yeah. So, and because the abode of the Lord is non-different from the Lord, so it's also equally worshipable as the Lord. Like Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as Lord Balaram, and Lord Balaram is as worshipable as Lord Krishna. Okay, text 19.
So,
Oh.
with the fraction of energy, Baldev created the spiritual sky and material energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And other energies, it's just Krishna keep it by himself.
I mean, Balaram is also Krishna's expansion. So it's not like Balaram is separate from Krishna. It's all Krishna's energy, but Krishna manifests his internal potency as his expansion Balaram, right? His Swamsha expansion. And then from him expands the Holy Dham and all the different other potencies, all the different incarnations and the jivas and everything. Brahmande prakasha tara krishnera ichaya ekai swarupa tara nahi duikaya. Kritika.
That abode is manifested within the material world by the will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Gokul. They are not two different bodies.
Purport. You got the purport there, Kritika? I'm not sure what happened. We can't
Huh?
hear you. Oh, would you like to read the purport?
Yeah, I'm reading the purport. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but we lost you when you finished it. You could just start from the beginning of the purport.
Okay. Purport. The above-mentioned dhammas are movable by the omnipotent will of Lord Krishna. When Sri Krishna appears on the face of the earth, he can also make his dhammas appear without changing their original structure. One should not discriminate between the dhammas on the earth and those in the spiritual sky, thinking those on earth to be material and the original abodes to be spiritual. All of them are spiritual. Only for us who cannot experience anything beyond matter in our present conditioned state do the Dhammas and the Lord Himself in His Archa form appear before us resembling matter to give us the facility to see spirit with material eyes. In the beginning, this may be difficult for a neophyte to understand, but in due course, when one is advanced in devotional service, it will be easier and he will appreciate the Lord's presence in these tangible forms.
Very nice, right? I was telling us that in the beginning. Yeah, it's hard for us to understand how the deity is actually Krishna or how the Vrindavan Dham or Mayapur Dham are actually the spiritual world. But as we advance in Krishna consciousness, then these things start to manifest in their full glory. There's something to look forward to, right? Okay, text 20. Chintamani bhumi kalpa vriksha mayavana charma chakshe deke tare prapanchera sama. Nikesh?
The land there is Darkstone Chintamani, and the forest abound with desire trees. Material eyes see it as an ordinary place. By the grace of the Lord, his dhammas and he himself can all be present simultaneously without losing their original importance. Only when one fully develops in affection and love of Godhead can one see those dhammas in their original appearance. Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura, a great acharya in the preceptorial line of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has said for our benefit that one can perfectly see the Dhammas only when one completely gives up the mentality of lording it over material nature. One's spiritual vision develops proportionately to one's giving up the debased mentality of unnecessary enjoying matter. A diseased person who has become diseased because of a certain bad habit must be ready to follow the advice of the physician, and as a natural sequence he must attempt to give up the cause of the disease. The patient cannot indulge in the bad habit and at the same time expect to be cured by the physician. Modern materialistic civilization, however, is maintaining a diseased atmosphere. The living being is a spiritual spark, as spiritual as the Lord Himself. The only difference is that the Lord is great and the living being is small. Qualitatively, they are one, but quantitatively they are different. Therefore, since the living being is spiritual in constitution, he can be happy only in the spiritual sky, when there are unlimited spiritual spheres called Vaikuntha. A spiritual being conditioned by a material body must therefore try to get rid of his disease instead of developing the cause of the disease. Foolish persons engrossed in their material assets are unnecessarily proud of being leaders of the people, but they ignore the spiritual value of man. Such illusioned leaders make plans covering any number of years, but they can hardly make humanity happy in a state conditioned by the threefold miseries inflicted by material nature. One cannot control the laws of nature by any amount of struggling. One must at last be subject to death, nature's unlimited law, ultimate law. Death, birth, or old age and illness are symptoms of the disease condition of the living being. The highest aim of human life should be therefore be to get free from these miseries and go back home, back to Godhead.
Thank you. Yes, in the previous verse, Prabhupada was saying that as we make spiritual advancement, we'll be able to see the actual spiritual nature of the holy Dham. We'll be able to see that that's the spiritual world. And now in this purport, he's referring to Narottam Das Thakur, who is saying that specifically, one can come to perfectly see the Dham only when one completely gives up the mentality of lording it over material nature. So, yeah, to the extent that we give up this attempt to enjoy the material world, to that extent we can start to see Vrindavan as the spiritual world and see the deity as Krishna. But as long as we're trying to just enjoy ourselves materially, then it's all just going to look material. Yeah. I think the song he's referring to is Gauranga Bolite Habe. He says Vishaya Chariya Habe Shuddha Habe Man. But what is it? Vishaya Chariya Kabe Shuddha Habe Man. Kabe Hamaherabu Shri Vrindavan. Yeah, he says Vishayacharya means when you give up this desire for sense enjoyment. He's saying, when will I give up the desire for sense enjoyment, and then so that then I'll be able to realize Vrindavan, be able to actually see the real Vrindavan. That's the song that Prabhupada's referring to.
Actually, he gave up everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying. I mean, he's singing like that for our benefit, like to
Yeah.
teach us that this is the way. Narottam Das Thakur was seeing Vrindavan.
But then he gave.
Yeah,
What's the name of the song?
Gauranga Bolite Habe.
Oh.
But for us, like ordinary people, give that reason.
Yeah, well, when we give up sense gratification and get the mercy of Krishna. Yeah, it reminds me also there's one song goes Vrindavana Ram Stan Divya Vichinta Manida. Yeah, so that
It says 8, like a lotus flower with 8 petals.
Yeah,
and
it describes it.
Yeah.
Lalita Vishaka, everyone there. And Divya Chin, yeah, so it says this, it's Divya means divine, it's not material. Chintamani, that every particle is a touchstone. Just like it's saying here, Chintamani, the text 20 that we just read, Chintamani Bhumi, Kalpavriksha Mayavana. That it's the land there is touchstone, the forests are full of desire trees, but material eyes see it as an ordinary place, kind of situation. So we need to get rid of these material eyes and get the spiritual eyes. We need to spiritualize our eyes by totally surrendering to Krishna in devotional service and giving up all desires to try to enjoy or control this material world. Easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Text 21. Prema netre deke tara swarupa prakasha gopa gopi sange yanha krishnera vilasa.
But with eyes of love of Godhead, one can see its real identity at the place where the Lord Krishna performs his pastimes with his cowherd boys and cowherd girls.
Mhm. So prema netre means eyes of love. It's kind of like he'll probably quote that soon. Is that verse from Ramasamhita? Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochani. Okay, the next verse has a really long purport, so I think we'll break it up and we can each go around and read paragraph by paragraph because it's like a 6-page purport.
6 pages.
Prabhupada had a lot to say about this. So this is a verse from Ramasamhita. 522. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha laksha viteshu surabhira vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra sata sambrahmase yamana govindamani purisham tamaham vadami. All right, everyone, you can read the translation first paragraph.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending cows yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune.
Go ahead. You can read the first paragraph also.
This is a verse from Brahma Samhita 529. This description of abode of Krishna gives us definite information of the transcendental place where not only is life eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, but there are ample vegetables, milk, jewels, and beautiful homes and gardens tended by lovely damsels who are all goddesses of fortune. Krishna Loka is the topmost planet in the spiritual sky, and below it is the innumerable spheres, a description of which can be found in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning of Lord Brahma's self-realization, he was shown a transcendental vision of the Vaikuntha spheres by the grace of Narayana. Later, by the grace of Krishna, he was shown a transcendental vision of Krishna Loka. This transcendental vision is like the reception of television from the moon via a mechanical system for receiving modulated waves, but it is achieved by penance and meditation within oneself.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I remember I heard a class that the vision of the spiritual world is just like television, right?
Yeah.
Like it's coming to you from a distant place. You're sitting in your room and you're seeing the thing that's happening, something far away, being broadcast. So in the same way, we can sit here when we get very deep in, when we become transcendental, we become totally pure, then we can just close our eyes and see the spiritual world. Just like you just watch television sitting in your living room. You sit there in your room chanting your japa and you're seeing the whole spiritual world right in front of you. So that's what he's saying. Like the reception of television from the moon by a mechanical system. Oh, it's achieved. So the way it's achieved is penance and meditation. So we have to, basically that's service and japa. Japa, kirtan, seva. Go ahead.
Srimad Bhagavatam states that in Vaikuntha Loka, the material modes of nature represented by the qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance have no influence. In the material world, the highest qualitative manifestation is goodness. It is characterized by faithfulness, mental equilibrium, cleanliness, control of the senses, simplicity, essential knowledge, faith in God, scientific knowledge, and so on. Nevertheless, all these qualities are mixed with passion and imperfection. But the qualities in Vaikuntha are a manifestation of God's internal potence, and therefore they are purely spiritual and transcendental with no trace of material infection. No material planet, even Satyaloka, is comparable in quality to spiritual planets, where the five inherent qualities of the material world, namely ignorance, misery, egoism, and anger and envy, are completely absent.
They're saying that throughout the whole material world, the modes of nature are all pervasive. But in the spiritual world, there's no touch of those things. None of those qualities are there. Okay, Pragati.
In the material world, everything is a creation. Anything we can think of within our experience, including even our own bodies and minds, was created. This process of creation began with the life of Brahma, and the creative principle is prevalent all over the material universe because of the quality of passion. But since the quality of passion is conspicuous by its absence in the Vaikuntha planet, nothing there is created. Everything there is eternally existent. And because there is no mode of ignorance, there is also no question of annihilation or destruction. In the material world, one may try to make everything permanent by developing above mentioned qualities of goodness, but because of goodness in the material world is mixed with passion and ignorance, nothing here can exist permanently. Despite all the good plans of the best scientific brains. Therefore, in the material world, we have no experience of eternity, bliss, and fullness of knowledge. But in the spiritual world, because of the complete absence of the qualitative modes, everything is eternal, blissful, and cognizant. Everything can speak, everything can move, everything can hear, and everything can see in fully blessed existence for eternity. The situation being so, naturally space and time in the forms of past, present, and future have no influence there. In the spiritual sky, there is no change because time has no influence. Consequently, the influence of Maya, the total external energy, which induces us to become more and more materialistic and forget our relationship with God, is also absent there.
Mhm. Yeah, we were reading that description, right, from that Krishna Komudi,
Oh, yeah.
talking about how like everything is sentient, everything is alive, and the stones and the plants and the creepers and the clouds and everything are all responding to Krishna's flute and Krishna's presence and dancing and crying tears and speaking and things. So that's the spiritual nature.
Just like they used to make the cartoons when you were little.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
real.
it's like everything.
Everything's animated.
I used to think, oh my God, that day,
It's just talking to you.
birds are talking,
Mm.
dogs.
Just do you have the book there? Or the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Kritika?
As spiritual spark, that paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. As spiritual sparks of the beam emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord, we are all permanently related with Him and equal to Him in quality. The material energy is a covering of the spiritual spark, but in the absence of that material covering, the living beings in Vaikuntha Loka are never forgetful of their identities. They are eternally cognizant of their relationship with God in their constitutional position of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. Because they constantly engage in the transcendental service of the Lord, it is natural to conclude that their senses are also transcendental, for one cannot serve the Lord with material senses. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka do not possess material senses with which to lord it over material nature.
Yeah, that's another way in which, we hear about the gopis and their relationship with Krishna is totally pure because they don't have any material senses. It's all totally just transcendental. So there's no influence of the mode of passion or ignorance. So it's impossible that there could be any lust or selfish desire. Okay, Nikesh.
Persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that a place void of material qualities must be some sort of formless nothingness. In reality, however, there are qualities in the spiritual world, but they are different from the material qualities because everything there is eternal, unlimited, and pure. The atmosphere there is self-illuminating, and thus there is no need of a sun, a moon, fire, electricity, and so on. One who can reach that abode does not come back to the material world with a material body. There is no difference between atheists and the faithful in the Vaikuntha planet, because all who settle there are freed from the material quality, and thus Suras and Asuras become equally obedient, loving servitors of the Lord.
All right, thank you. The residents of Vaikuntha have brilliantly black complexions, much more fascinating and attractive than the dull white and black complexions found in the material world. Their bodies, being spiritual, have no equals in the material world. The beauty of a bright cloud, when lightning flashes on it, merely hints at their beauty. Generally, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha dress in yellow clothing. Their bodies are delicate and attractively built, and their eyes are like the petals of lotus flowers. So not only the Lord, but even the residents are like this. Like Lord Vishnu, the residents of Vaikuntha have 4 hands decorated with a conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower. Their chests are beautifully broad and fully decorated with necklaces of a brilliant diamond-like metal, surrounded by costly jewels never to be found in the material world. The residents of Vaikuntha are always powerful and effulgent. Some of them have complexions like red coral, cat's eyes, and lotus flowers, and each of them has earrings of costly jewels. On their heads, they wear flowery crowns resembling garlands. So now we're hearing about Vaikuntha. Mother Vaidehi?
In Vaikuntha, there are airplanes, but they make no tumultuous sounds. Material airplanes are not at all safe. They can fall down, crash at any time. For matter is imperfect in every respect. In the spiritual sky, however, the airplanes are spiritual and they are spiritually brilliant and bright. These airplanes do not fly business executives, politicians, or planning commissions as passengers. And nor do they carry cargo or postal bag. For these are all unknown there. These planes are pleasure trips only. The residents of Vaikuntha fly in them with their heavenly beautiful fairy-like concerts. Therefore, these airplanes full of residents of Vaikuntha, both male and female, increase the beauty of the spiritual sky. We cannot imagine how beautiful they are, but their beauty may be compared to the clouds in the sky accompanied by silver branches of electric lightning. The spiritual sky of Vaikuntha Loka is always decorated in this way.
Hmm. The beautiful airplanes with their beautiful passengers, beautifying the beautiful sky.
Beautiful sky of Vaikuntha.
Okay, Aruna, you can read too because the first one's short.
The full opulence of the internal potency of Godhead is always resplendent in Vaikuntha Loka, where goddess of fortune are ever increasingly attached to serving the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. These goddesses of fortune, accompanied by their friends, always create a festive atmosphere of transcendental mirth, always singing the glories of the Lord. They are not silent even for a moment. There are unlimited Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. And the ratio.
Go ahead and open, please.
Oh, that's my ratio.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue reading?
Yeah,
it?
So, always singing the glories of the Lord, they are not silent even for a moment.
Okay, she read that.
Next also, okay. There are unlimited Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and the ratio of these planets to the material planets in the material sky is 3 to 1. Thus, the poor materialist is busy making political judgments on a planet that is most insignificant in God's creation. To say nothing of this planet Earth, the whole universe with innumerable planets throughout the galaxies is comparable to a single mustard seed in a bag full of mustard seeds. But the poor materialist makes plans to live comfortably here and thus waste his valuable human energy in something that is doomed to frustration. Instead of wasting his time with business speculations, he should seek the life of plain living with high spiritual thinking and thus save himself from perpetual materialistic unrest.
Okay, pregnancy.
Even if a materialist wants to enjoy developed material facilities, he can transfer himself to planets where he can experience material pleasures much more advanced than those available on Earth. The best plan is to prepare oneself to return to the spiritual sky after leaving the body. However, if one is intent on enjoying material facilities, one can transfer himself to other planets in the material sky by utilizing yogic powers. The playful spaceships of the astronauts are but childish entertainments and are of no use for this purpose. The Ashtanga Yoga system is a materialistic art of controlling air by transferring it from the stomach to the navel, from the navel to the heart, from the heart to the collarbone, from there to the eyeballs, from there to the cerebellum, and from there to any desired planet. The velocities of air and light are taken into consideration by the material scientist, but he has no information of the velocity of the mind and intelligence. We have some limited experience of the velocity of the mind because in a moment we can transfer our minds to places hundreds of thousands of miles away. Intelligence is even finer. Finer than intelligence is the soul, which is not matter like mind and intelligence, but is spirit or antimatter. The soul is hundreds of thousands of times finer and more powerful than intelligence. We can thus only imagine the velocity of the soul in its traveling from one planet to another. Needless to say, the soul travels by its own strength and not with the help of any kind of material vehicle.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, Prabhupada was talking about different ways that people try to elevate themselves and how none of them really work except devotional service to get us back home, back to Godhead. We can go to a higher planet in this earth, but yeah, it's kind of pointless. He said this whole universe, what to speak of this earth, the whole universe is insignificant as a mustard seed in a big, huge sack of mustard seeds.
I like that Prabhupada praise it, and it feels like how insignificant we are. And if
Yeah,
this insignificance, we think of, oh, my job, my this, my that, and we are so much stupid.
yeah. Yeah, and people are working so hard and spending their whole life just trying to earn money so they can buy some house, some little wooden box here, you know, on this tiny little planet, on this tiny little universe, which is like a speck in a bag of mustard seeds, millions of billions of unlimited universes, and all that is just one tiny little fragment of the size of the spiritual world. And we're taking it so seriously.
And it can be destroyed any second.
That's another thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and Prabhupada says, you know, that it's he says the poor materialist, he's like so pathetic. This pathetic materialist makes plans to live comfortably here and thus wastes his valuable human energy in something that is doomed to frustration. Yeah. So, okay, Kritika, the bestial civilization.
The bestial civilization of eating, sleeping, fearing, and sense gratifying has misled modern man into forgetting how powerful a soul he has. As we have already described, the soul is a spiritual spark many, many times more illuminating, dazzling, and powerful than the sun, moon, or electricity. Human life is spoiled when man does not realize his real identity with his soul. Lord Chaitanya appeared with Lord Nityananda to save man from this type of misleading civilization.
Just think about that, how powerful we are. We as individual souls are many times more powerful than the sun.
I can't imagine.
Because sun is just a material thing, right? It says that the soul, spiritual spark is many, many times more illuminating, more dazzling, and more powerful than the sun, moon, or electricity. And we're thinking that the sun will just burn me up, but actually the sun can't burn me because I'm a soul. Or thinking if I get electric shock, I'm finished. No, I'm fine because I'm a soul. I'm much more powerful than electricity. So yeah, the thing is we identify with the body so strongly, and the body is so limited and small and useless and limited. And but if we actually understood, you know, our potential as souls, nothing we couldn't do. Nothing that the pure soul cannot do. Like the soul said that as souls, we have the capacity to create a planet. Like Lord Brahma, right? He's a Jiva soul. He like designs the whole universe and creates all the bodies of different living entities and the planets and things like that. So probably good chance that we have done that. We've been Brahma at some point in our sojourn in the material world, and we've done all that. And now we're just trying to even draw a picture on a piece of paper. We're like, ooh.
How did we lose all this power?
Ignorance, that's the influence of the mode of ignorance. We became totally squashed. Our potential became crushed by ignorance and illusion. So that's why we have to really perform bhakti yoga. So that we can get purified of ignorance and passion and illusion and false ego and all these things, and then we can actually realize our potency as souls. Okay, we are not going to finish this purport today, so we'll have to pick up on it tomorrow. We left off here, it was Srimad Bhagavatam also describes You're gonna make a little note?
Yeah, I put.
Page 439 in my book. You have the same note?
Second
Okay.
paragraph. Yeah.
Alrighty, so a lot of good philosophy here. Prabhupada is explaining everything, the spiritual world, the material world, space travel, Vaikuntha airplane travel. Encyclopedia of transcendental knowledge.
I really liked it. The different layers, how they describe the Vaikuntha people.
It's so good. Just sometimes when you're like walking by the stands, we feel like the lights are illuminating.
Mm,
Even if they're walking like this and we just feel the distance of the lights is like glowing.
mm,
You can feel that, right?
yeah,
Maybe it must be the spark.
the soul,
Yeah.
the soul shining.
This was so epic.
This is like powerful
So
than the
much powerful
sun.
than the sun.
Yeah, Aruna, you're more powerful than the sun and the moon and the electricity all put together.
Oh.
Yeah. I would worship it.
Right?
We are in too much
And why would you worship a demigod for a material thing? Like material things are so just dull and pointless and temporary. Yeah, that's why Krishna says people with little intelligence worship the demigods.
We should take sannyasi now. Oh, Krishna, this is like so powerful.
Okay, let's see who's here. Oh, someone's asking me, what are you reading? Gita or Veda? I'm reading the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. It's the best Shastra. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you all for joining and see you tomorrow. We'll finish this report tomorrow. The ecstasy keeps flowing. Haribo, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.